What is the minimum age to obtain a commercial learner's permit in California? 18 years old. You must be at least 18 to hold a CLP and operate in intrastate commerce. Let's continue. What is the minimum passing score for the California CDL General Knowledge Test? 80%. You need to answer at least 80% of the questions correctly to pass. Moving on. When performing a pre-trip inspection, you should check all vehicle systems and components. A thorough inspection ensures the vehicle is safe to operate. Here's another. What does a solid yellow line on your side of the road mean? No passing allowed. You may not cross a solid yellow line to overtake other vehicles. On to the next. When driving a commercial vehicle, you should maintain a following distance of at least 1 second for each 10 feet of vehicle length. This rule gives you enough time to react and stop safely. Let's keep going. What is the purpose of the air brake system? To stop the vehicle using compressed air. Air brakes use stored air pressure to apply braking force. Continuing. When backing a commercial vehicle, you should use a helper whenever possible. A spotter helps you avoid obstacles you can't see. Up next, what is the proper way to downshift when descending a steep grade? Downshift before starting down the grade. Shifting early uses engine braking to control speed. Here's one. When should you use your horn? To warn others of your presence. Use it sparingly to alert pedestrians or other drivers of danger. Proceeding. What is the correct procedure if your vehicle begins to hydroplane? Release the accelerator and steer straight. Maintaining direction and easing off speed helps regain traction. Check this out. What is the proper way to handle a tire blowout? Hold the steering wheel firmly and stay off the brakes. Braking sharply can cause loss of control during a blowout. Here's another. When should you inspect your cargo? Before, during, and after the trip. Regular checks prevent shifting loads and potential hazards. Next up, what is the purpose of a cargo inspection? To ensure the load is secure and not shifting. A secure load reduces the risk of accidents and vehicle damage. Let's move forward. What is the maximum allowable blood alcohol concentration for commercial drivers? 0.04%. Commercial drivers are held to a stricter BAC limit than other motorists. Now this. When approaching a railroad crossing, you should slow down and be prepared to stop. Always look and listen for trains before crossing tracks. Here's one more. What is the proper way to use a fire extinguisher? Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, and sweep side to side. This pass technique maximizes effectiveness in extinguishing flames. Let's continue. What should you do if your vehicle gets stuck on railroad tracks? Get out and move away from the tracks. Your safety comes first. Call for help from a safe distance. Onwards, when driving in fog, you should use low beam headlights. High beams reflect off fog and reduce visibility. Next question. What is the purpose of the emergency air line? To supply air to the trailer's emergency brakes. A loss of pressure in this line applies the trailer brakes automatically. Keep it going. When should you use your parking brakes? Whenever you park the vehicle, always set the parking brake to prevent unintended movement. Here's one. What is the proper way to test your service brakes? Apply the brakes while moving slowly forward. This ensures they engage smoothly and consistently. Moving on. What is the purpose of the anti-lock braking system, ABS? To prevent wheel lockup during braking, ABS helps you maintain steering control under heavy braking. Next up, when should you use your turn signals? At least 100 feet before turning or changing lanes. Early signaling alerts others to your intentions. Here's another. What is the purpose of the trailer hand valve? To test the trailer brakes. It lets you apply trailer brakes independently for inspection. On to the next. When should you check your mirrors for a lane change? Before and after the lane change. Checking both times ensures your maneuver is safe. Continuing. What is the proper way to handle a skid? Steer in the direction you want the vehicle to go. Turning into the skid helps you regain traction. Let's keep going. What is the purpose of the engine retarder? Jake brake. To help slow the vehicle without using the service brakes. It uses engine compression to provide additional braking power. Up next, when should you downshift for a curve? Before entering the curve. Shifting in advance maintains control and avoids sudden braking. Here's one. What is the proper way to handle a front tire blowout? Hold the steering wheel firmly and stay off the brakes. This helps you keep the vehicle stable until you can slow safely. Next question. What is the purpose of the suspension system? To support the vehicle and provide a smooth ride. Suspension also helps maintain tire contact and handling. Moving forward, when should you inspect your vehicle's tires? Before each trip, checking tire condition and pressure prevents blowouts and poor handling. Here's another. What is the proper way to handle a rear wheel skid? Steer in the direction you want the vehicle to go. This helps you realign the rear end and regain traction. On to the next. What is the purpose of the air compressor? To supply air to the brake system. It keeps the air tanks filled for consistent brake operation. Continuing, when should you use your four-way emergency flashers? When your vehicle is stopped on the side of the road, flashers warn other drivers of your stationary vehicle. Let's go on. What is the purpose of the convex mirrors? To provide a wider field of view, they reduce blind spots by showing more area alongside the vehicle. Next one, when should you use your headlights? From sunset to sunrise or when visibility is low. Headlights help you see and be seen under reduced visibility. Here's another. What is the proper way to handle a brake failure? Downshift and use the parking brake to stop. Using multiple braking methods helps you slow safely. Moving on, what is the purpose of the air tanks? To store compressed air for the brake system. Stored air provides the power needed for repeated brake applications. Next question, when should you use your high beam headlights? When driving in open country without other vehicles nearby, high beams give maximum visibility when there's no oncoming traffic. Here's one more. What is the proper way to handle a stuck accelerator? Shift to neutral and apply the brakes. This lets you slow the vehicle safely without engine power. Let's continue. What is the purpose of the governor in the air brake system? To control when the air compressor pumps air into the storage tanks, it maintains pressure within the correct operating range. Up next, what is the proper way to handle a fire in your vehicle? Stop and use the fire extinguisher if safe to do so. If the fire is small and you have an extinguisher, attempt to put it out, otherwise exit and call for help. Here's another. What is the purpose of the slack adjusters? To adjust the clearance in the brake system. They keep brake shoes at the correct distance from the drums. Now this one. What should you do when driving at night? Drive slowly enough to stop within the range of your headlights. This ensures you can react to hazards you can see ahead. Onwards, what is the correct term for a long commercial vehicle's tendency to swing wide on turns? Off-tracking. Off-tracking describes the rear wheels cutting inside while the front swings out. Next question. When parked at the side of the road at night, you must turn on your four-way emergency flashers. Flashers alert other drivers to your parked vehicle. Let's keep going. When exiting a highway using a downhill off-ramp in a heavy vehicle, you should slow to a safe speed before the curve. Slowing early helps you navigate the ramp safely. Here's one. When should a pre-trip inspection be completed? Before operating the vehicle, you must inspect the vehicle before you begin driving. Continuing, what is the average reaction distance at 55 miles per hour? About 61 feet. Reaction distance is the distance your vehicle travels while you react.